try a little different this time with the camera turned sideways, see if the video comes out better. So I've got some parts to change out this, replace this vacuum breaker. Got a vacuum breaker, got some fittings here and a coupling, and we're gonna put it on. So I've shut the water off right here. Now I'm gonna bleed the pressure. Oh, let's see here. Bleed the pressure by opening up the valve to feed the cypress trees. See if that'll relieve some pressure. I can undo this. Some Teflon tape to wrap the threads. I'll take this one off. The plumber had put this one on. Take it off. The purpose of a vacuum breaker, this is a vacuum breaker right here. You can get a vacuum breaker that has a valve on it to turn it on and off. You can get them with electric valves, manual valves, or just plain like this, which is a atmospheric pressure, that's it. Anyway, the way these work is, it has water pressure in, and then it goes out and feeds the line. But what it does is it prevents any water from coming back up, like if you were fertilizing your yard or you had chemicals or something were to seep into the water at your bubblers or your sprinklers, it could theoretically seep back in. If you just had it connected straight in here, it could seep back into your house water supply, or even the supply from the city, and that's not good. This guy, what it does is it allows water to flow out, but when the water, you turn off the water, it opens a little vacuum breaker here, and it creates a vacuum, so it won't allow the water to flow backwards. So it's pretty nifty. Typically you want to wrap threads. This is Teflon tape. You want to go the same direction as the threads go. So if you thread something on clockwise, you want to go clockwise with it. So that's what we're going to do here. And you usually want to go about 4 turns. Try to spread it out. It's getting tangled up. There we go. Drop it. Start fresh. Tear a piece off. Okay. I don't want it all bunched up into a little skinny. I want it all spread out like it's supposed to be. One, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Okay, we'll do the same on this one. The reason why I go the same direction as the threads is when you thread this piece on, it's going to keep going in the same direction. If you were to do it the opposite direction, when you thread it on, it would be undoing the tape. You don't want that. Now, I think I got this right where the height is going to be okay, because obviously with this coupling it's going to change the height of it, but I think when I thread that on and thread this down, we're going to be close. I don't know, we're going to see. We will see. So since these are plastic fittings, I'm going to be careful. This is a pipe wrench. I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on it. I just want to snug it up pretty good. Probably good right there. Wrap both sides of this fitting. Teflon tape just helps to seal it when you're threading it on with water. You'd rather not have any leaks. So this one's going to be a little fun because I've got to get this nipple threaded in here pretty snug, but I don't really have a lot to grab a hold of here. And obviously I don't want to go too tight. I want it to end up in this position because that's where this guy is going to come out and connect. I'm going to go one more time around, and hopefully that will be enough for it. Pretty good there. Okay, next. A lot of fittings. There's a lot of taping. All right, so got a few more fittings threaded. Now I'm going to try to put this coupling on. It's kind of neat because it's a coupling that I can connect on the bottom part and the top part, and then this part is adjustable where I can lock it down, and this part can stay stationary. So when you have two parts coming together, if you have to tighten one and this one's supposed to be stationary, that's a problem. So this thing should work. Let's see. I think I'm going to try to use the vice grips on this instead of the pipe wrench. I don't want to overdo it. This is plastic. It'd be really great if I get done with this and it doesn't leak. But that would be amazing. I'll have to expect a little bit of a leak. Maybe have to snug something up. As I tighten this one, the fitting right here, the black one that I've taped, is turning also inside of this, so okay, feels pretty good there. This is going to be fun because it's not perfectly lined up, but you do have a little bit of flexibility in the pipe here, so we're going to try, see if we can get it to line up. That's better. Okay, that guy. I think this vacuum breaker still wants to turn on here, so I may give it one more turn. Yeah. Okay. Might want to turn this one more time too. Yeah, I make faces. Don't you know when you make faces, it always makes it work better? It works for me. Sometimes I make noises too. Usually I don't know it until somebody tells me, or I happen to catch the recording afterwards, like, oh, I was making weird noises. Okay, I might need, let's see if I can just get away with hand tighten. Let's turn it on. See what happens. See what kind of leaks we get. Hopefully none, but here we go. You probably heard that noise. That was the water pressure coming in and pushing the breaker open. I see water a little bit. Yeah, there's a little water leaking right here, so I'm gonna have to tighten this around one more. Oh, something's coming off of this side too, right there. Yeah, so let's turn it off, tighten it up a little more. The O-ring. Don't want to get that dirty. Okay. Let's tighten it some more. Uh-oh. That's not good. Tighten it. It felt like it just cracked. It was tightening and all of a sudden it went kind of easy. Not a good feeling. Okay, let's try it again. I'll be surprised if it doesn't leak. it's leaking. I think these black nipple fittings are too weak because this is metal, it's brass. I have a brass piece here. Ideally, if I were to keep it, you know, metal, brass, or something like that, that would be best. I am going to PVC here, so I could convert it, but this side seems okay. This side here is leaking, and I think it's this piece, this plastic piece, the white one that cracked, or maybe this black piece. I'm just gonna let it sit for a little bit and see if it continues. Sometimes when you have a tiny, I wouldn't do this inside, but on out exterior, if you have a real tiny leak, water's hard enough that it could kind of self-seal in a short time. If the leak is really, really small, I wouldn't do it inside. Inside you don't want any drips at all. But I'm gonna leave it for a little bit and come back and check it. In the meantime, I'm gonna trim back these wires and see if we can get some power to them. Okay, so it's, I don't know, maybe an hour later, and this thing is still leaking. Yeah, it's not as bad, but it's still leaking. So I'm gonna end up replacing that, probably with metal pipes, and thread them up real good with the Teflon tape. This side seems to be doing pretty good, so I might be okay to keep that there. In the meantime, I did cut these wires back. Oops, I moved this way. I did cut these wires back, and I'm still not getting any voltage here. So, and you can kind of see how corroded the wires were. I mean, that's just one of them. But I followed this back here, and I checked it. It kind of poked real tiny holes. I don't know if you can see it right here. Tiny hole there with my meter probes, and I'm not getting any voltage there either. I went all the way back to the back valve box there, and I checked the wires there, you know, at the valve box and down there, and I could not find voltage there either. I even checked the wires coming out of the dirt over there, and I'm not seeing it. So I think the wire is actually broken under the flower bed there. So I think at this point, instead of fighting with that anymore, I'm probably just going to install a little irrigation clock right here. Since I have an outlet, I'll just install an irrigation clock and have it connect up to this valve, and that way I can control the watering of these cypress trees up here. And then I'm still not sure if I'm going to keep it the way it is and then just make a repair on that side over there, or I may just put everything up at the top like I'd said before. Okay, so I did not want to have to go back to the store. So what I decided to do is take this apart and rewrap these fittings. This one here I didn't have to because it was pretty well stuck together, but I took it apart and rewrapped this with like 7 or 8 layers of Teflon tape, and I put it back and it stopped leaking. But then this side started leaking, so I took this side apart and rewrapped this one with about the same 7 or 8 layers of Teflon tape, and now we're in good shape. It's not leaking at all. So voila, saved a trip to the store. Always like to do that. All right, maybe now we'll be done for this evening. Thanks guys, have a good one.